Now here with me is the Executive Director of Tumaini Festival, Menes La Plume, catching us live from the capital of Lilongwe as today's edition of Breakfast Live continues. He has joined us this morning to bring us up to speed on the happening of Tumaini Festival this year because dates have already been announced. But for a start, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
I think officially this is the first time that you also get to be on Breakfast Live. I don't know if you have been on Breakfast Live before.
No, this is my very first time.
We are privileged. Now, to say the least, Tumaini Festival started in 2014, and the idea is to provide hope. I was just hoping that perhaps we could start by expanding on the idea of hope and where the inspiration came from.
Thank you very much. Myself, I came to Malawi as a refugee in 2008, and when I arrived, I was taken to Dzaleka. And being in Dzaleka refugee camp, for me, it was just the first minute I stepped in that camp, I thought that it was the end of my life, actually, because back then the situation was very bad. There were still very few people at the time, maybe 15,000 people living in Dzaleka. And at that time, it was so, I lost hope. For me, I started feeling like I didn't have a future anymore. And staying there, after a few years, I started thinking, what can I do? Because I went through depression, I went through so much. I could sometimes spend 2 weeks without any sleep at all. So I was very, very in a bad shape mentally. And then I started working on myself to be, what can I do? Because arriving in the camp, I thought that I was going to be in Malawi only maybe for 3 months, and then it ended up being 6 months, and then it was a year, and then it kept on going, Then I was just like, this is not happening. I'm not going back anytime soon because the situation's still going on. Every time you follow the news, you're just like, oh, things are going bad. Then I was just like, you know what? I should choose this as my place for now. And what can I do to make myself feel better, and what can I do also for the community? And what I saw, like I was missing in that space was hope. And I realized that so many young people didn't have hope in a future. So many people around that place didn't have hope, and I thought of something that would bring joy and restore the hope of the people. And that was, there is nothing that can do that better than the arts.
So suffice to say that you're the type of person that doesn't necessarily allow oneself to stay in one place and cry over the spilled milk. I remember the very first time when I got to meet you was at Menes La Festival. You came through as a performer as well. I've also seen you performing at Lake of Stars. I ended up seeing you performing at Blanta Arts Festival, but little did we anticipate you coming up with this huge festival that has attracted lots of audience over the years. But what have you made of the strides made so far from 2014 to this year?
Wow, that's first of all, for me, the idea was just restoring hope among refugees with the festival. But after years, I realized that the festival is more than just what it was. It brought so much joy into people. The festival came up with so much impact. First of all, people that were in Malawi before 2014, they didn't even know that Dzaleka existed. People didn't even know that. Some people didn't even know that there was a refugee camp just not far from Lilongwe. And with Tumaini Festival, it's first gave visibility to Dzaleka and visibility to refugees. And after the creation of Tumaini Festival, look at how many talents from Dzaleka have been discovered. I see the Amaoro drummers being invited in different spaces. They have even played at the State House once, and they have performed in many places. I see people like Yeah,
There's several dancing groups actually.
yeah, dancing groups. You know, like recently, Kumalewezi launched his album, and the opening was by a dance group from Dzaleka. And I've seen all the musicians in Malawi.
At some point in time, I think Lulu had a performance in the capital Lilongwe. He had also invited dancers from Dzaleka.
Yes, everyone uses Skefa Chimoto, Ty Green in his music videos, Ezomark.
At some point in time, I also saw Dan Lu, I think. He did a video with some dancers from Dzaleka.
Lucius Banda, everyone. So to just show that how much Tumaini has done to the young people of Dzaleka, giving them that platform, opening Dzaleka to the world. And apart from that, we've seen refugees becoming more expressive. After the creation of Tumaini Festival, it made even younger refugees believe that everything is possible. Today, when you go in Dzaleka, just to see how many young people are involved in creating community-based organization to bring an impact in their community, the number is unbelievable.
It hasn't been so easy organizing Tumaini Festival. We have had these conversations on the sidelines, and you're the type of a person who surely does also go on social media to talk about the organization process, especially when it comes to funding. You've been over-reliant on crowdfunding for a couple of years. I remember at some point in time we went without Tumaini Festival that year, I believe because of either financial issues, there are also some other issues at play. But going through that process over and over again, because the money that you put into this festival, you never get to realize it. People don't pay for Tumaini Festival. What keeps you going?
So hope is one of the things. That's why Tumaini is called hope. Tumaini means hope in Swahili. The type of people that never give up. Actually, and I always believe that it's possible. Things might be difficult, but they are not impossible to be realized. So every year we are the only festival that doesn't charge for tickets, and we still give the same quality.
And the lineup is always amazing.
And we still give the same quality that all the festivals do. And sometimes we've been even voted as the best festival, organized festival in Malawi, and the festival is for free. And some people think that we have a lot of money and we have funding. We don't. And every year we will publish on our social media to ask for people to contribute through a crowdfunding campaign. And some years, last year, we were not even successful with the crowdfunding campaign, and we were about to cancel the festival. And fortunately, because of that campaign on social media, when I announced that we are canceling the festival, I received phone calls from people be like, do you know what, you can't cancel this festival, it's doing so much, doing so much to the community at Dzaleka, we are going to support. And they supported the festival. Because when you look at the energy we put in the festival to make, and what keeps me going is also the hope I see into refugees every time Tumaini Festival is. Dzaleka, people see refugee camps as places of sadness and of sorrow, but when you do Tumaini Festival, you see people coming out of their shelves. People smile. You see, I heard someone coming to me and be like, thank you very much. I was even having ideas of committing suicide because I just lost the hope in life. And today I just feel so much joy that I'm back to myself. And such testimonies just keeps me going.
It keeps you going.
I've heard people coming to me be like, thank you for the whole year. I didn't make this amount of money I've made today, because Tumaini has a lot of impact on the financial level. Every year we have 50 refugee businesses that are installed at Tumaini Festival. Tumaini Festival itself creates jobs, opportunity, temporary jobs for 1,500 people every year.
That's a lot of people.
So and you see the money that the festival is putting in the community. Every year, not less than $250,000 injected in the community. Not only the community around Dzaleka, but the communities around. Tumaini is also has a big impact on Malawi as a country, because when it encourages domestic tourism. Tell me, like, what would bring you to Doha? like what reason would bring you to Doha?
Tumaini Festival.
Yeah, so Tumaini Festival made Doha become a tourist destination. Some people here in Malawi never went to Doha before. And since we started Tumaini Festival, we see people coming from Mwanza, people coming from Blantyre, people coming from Mulanje.
Even some other people from across the border.
Yeah, people coming from people coming from Zambia, people coming from Tanzania, people coming from Europe and America.
Just to be a part of this
just
festival.
Come to Malawi and go to Doha.
But Menes, despite these impacts, there are also some other social challenges that have been exposed in the process, as uttered by some of the members from within the community, talking about the structural behaviors being impacted on the youth. Some have actually said the behavior patterns of some youngsters have been affected as the festival gets to happen. What's your response to that?
I think that's very. I think it's very wrong, because it's just a conflict of generation. You know, so also coming from Africa, a lot of countries we are very conservative. And people don't want to see young people expressing themselves, you know? And we are talking about young people being the leaders of tomorrow. At the same time, we don't want to give them a space to be themselves and to express themselves, you know? So Tumaini Festival amplifies the voices of young people so they can express themselves. And also it allows every person to be themselves, you know, every person to come out of the shells or out of the closet, I don't know, to just be them and to celebrate life and putting people together. And in that process, there are so many things that happen. Young people connect, you know, they meet and they celebrate life. And sometimes you have, as a conservative country and conservative continent, people always want to see young people being hidden and not being themselves. And Tumaini is one of, and all the festivals around the country, they give young people that opportunity. And why that opportunity should be deprived to young refugees, because they are also young people and they need the same space of expression than any other young people in the world.
Are there any social projects that you implement as a festival, just to make sure that you have a lead on the behavioral patterns, especially of young people?
Yes, of course, as Tumaini, because people know they only know Tumaini Festival, but our NGO Tumaini Letu does more than the festival, because we have many programs that we run, but among them I will just focus on the young people because that's the question. We work with young people in different capacity. Like we have a youth impact program, which is basically a youth engagement and behavior change program. And what we believe, as a youth-focused organization, we believe that even the present belongs to the young people, because they have more energy to do things, and the future belongs to them as well, because they are the ones that will be leading. And young refugees are left behind in so many things, you know. You do have a lot of programs on sexual and reproductive health around Malawi. Those projects are not implemented in Dzaleka. You know, a lot of trainings for sensitization, they happen around the country, but not in the camp, you know, and that's our work. We focus on that through workshops, debates, and helping young people on the beat, because we want to see positive behavior change among young people. And when people are still young, it's a very conflicting season of life, because there is peer pressure, there is a lot of conflicts inside themselves when they're discovering who they are and what they want to be and everything. And that's why we're there to guide young people to make good choices in life, and also if they are already the other side, to make sure that we help them revert their behavior. So that's why we have that program, the Youth Impact Program.
Now, this year's Tumaini Festival is happening at a time where human rights activists have come through to say that Dzaleka refugee camp is too overcrowded. The government made a resolution that refugees around the country have to return to the camp. Plus, they have also managed to acquire a space somewhere in the northern part of the country where they would like to move the refugee camp to. as a festival or as an organization, Tumaini Letu, what's your take on these issues?
So the government, the government is implementing laws that have been already signed way before, like we were not there. It was so for that, I'm sure that they are doing it in good faith. That they have good reasons to act in that way. But as an organization, our job is to advocate for change of laws so that refugees should find a space to grow. Imagine that. I said that when I came to Jamaica, there were only 15,000 people.
Yeah.
And today it's like more than 51,000
Yeah.
in that space. And it's so congested and overpopulated. And I met young people that were born in the camp, you know. And today those young people, they have families. So I know someone who was born in the camp, today they're like 29 and they have like 4 kids. And that person, the space where they have been is Zaleka, that's their world. For them and for their children. So there is no future for them. So if there could be a way that refugees could be given maybe a chance, you know, to contribute to the development of the country, that would be great. That is just a prayer. That's one day things will change. And also, when you look, it doesn't make sense for Africans, you know, like imagine that if there is war in Zambia, a Chewa from Zambia will be a refugee in Malawi, where there are other Chewas, they speak exactly the same language and everything. So when there were conflicts in Lubumbashi, where I come from, the Bemba people from Lubumbashi crossed to Zambia, where there are cousins, and in Zambia they were refugees, you know, while they are Bembas, they speak the same language, they have the very same ancestors, you know. So it's I pray that these colonial borders will disappear one day, that Africa, we could just, you know, move and go to visit our cousins in the so-called countries that we didn't even name ourselves, you know. So I pray that change could happen one day. The idea that they are now our ancestors, you know, the Thomas Sankaras, the Patrice Emery Lumumba, and that as way for thinking the vision they had for Africa. I think that maybe our generation will one day
get to that space.
Get to that, you know, because at some point we need to break the cycle. To just be like, enough is enough. How can we do for our continent? So anyways, so that's good.
Really impressive. Yes. Really impressive. You took me to a whole different world. Now, as we are wrapping up this conversation, let's get to discuss preparations. Where are we in terms of this year's Tumaini Festival? Dates have already been announced. Is it from the 2nd?
Yeah, from the 2nd to the 5th of November.
Yes. Where are we in terms of preparations, and what should we expect to see at this year's Tumaini Festival at Zaleka Refugee Camp?
First of all, I will go a bit back to your previous question. So, like, we have the issues that you mentioned, and for us as a festival this year, we feel like Tumaini Festival is needed more than before, because this year over 4,000 refugees have been
sent back to Zambia.
Yeah, so the self-reliant refugees, the ones that we're trying to do a small thing to make a living, are going back to Zaleka. The camp is even more over-congested than before. There is so much sadness and a lot of chaos somehow, I would say, in the camp. And this year's Tumaini Festival is to restore hope and to bring joy in those hearts, and and with all of what has happened, we've seen even on social media some people being like, oh, we want refugees, some people be like, oh, I pity Kwao, and we see all of that, and so we've been divided as Africans, as one people. So Tumaini Festival is also a way for us to unite, to reunite and to reconnect as human beings, because I'm sure that we we need each other somehow. We
Yeah.
need each other, and so it's a way for us to reconnect and to rebuild those bonds that are broken. So this year is quite a good year for Tumaini Festival. But from the 2nd to the 5th of November, the festival will be there, and people should expect a great festival.
Yeah.
Actually, people should really expect a great festival. We're working on the lineup that will be announced very soon. There will be a lot of workshops as well, and a lot of talks at the Tumaini Festival. And apart from that, we will do what we do best. We are a cocktail of arts, you know, because I would say we are the only festival that manages to create that harmony between different art forms, you know, like from traditional,
music, traditional dances,
to poetry, to theater, to music, and we put all those things together, and everyone has something they can enjoy at the Tumaini Festival. Apart from that, just the magic of different nations, different different cultures, different people of different background, different languages being spoken on one space, you know. So that's the beauty we are promising for this year.
It was epic having a conversation with you, Menes La
No,
Plume.
thank you very much for inviting me.
We just had to. The executive director of Tumaini Festival, Menes La Plume, telling us more about Tumaini Letu as well as Tumaini Festival bound to happen at Zeleka Refugee Camp in Doha District from the 2nd to the 5th of November this year. Make sure that you're a part of this experience and get to follow them on their social media platforms just to understand some of the updates as they get to come. Today's edition of Breakfast Live continues.